Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie.
And this is the Tiny Gate to Yeshua. The topic talk this week will be in my name. That was really slow.
Well, it looks okay now.
We are going to start this topic talk in my name with a very popular reading about Yeshua and his parents going to the festival of Bereshit, that's Passover, when the child was 12 years old. Now we know we've talked about in my name quite a bit, but we've stated it, we've read about it, but this is going to be kind of different. And my sweetie's going to start reading in Luke 2, 41 through 51.
Every year, Yeshua's parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival as custom required. But after the festival was over, when the parents returned, Yeshua remained in Jerusalem. They didn't realize this. Supposing he was somewhere in the caravan, they spent a whole day on the road before they began searching for him among their relatives and friends. Failing to find him, they returned to Jerusalem to look for him. On the third day they found him. He was sitting in the temple court among the rabbis, not only listening to them, but questioning what they said. And everyone who heard him was astonished at his insight and his responses. When his parents saw him, they were shocked, and his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been terribly worried looking for you." He said to them, "Why did you have to look for me? Didn't you know that I had to be concerning myself with my father's affairs?" But they didn't understand what he meant. So he went with them to Nazareth and was obedient to them. But his mother stored up all these things in her heart.
Can you imagine nowadays your 12-year-old son lost from you for days? How terrified you would be. Then on the third day of searching, you found your child not only listening but questioning what a rabbi or the rabbi said.
Yeah, amazing.
How many of us only listen to what your preacher says, but fail to ask him questions about why does this denomination believe that, and questioning, is that the real truth?
Yeah, most people would never do that. You're right. Keep going.
Your preacher, priest, rabbi, teacher then most likely stated something like the child went to Nazareth and was obedient to Joseph and Miriam. So what do we have? Luke 2, 1 through 7, please.
At that time, Emperor Augusta issued an order for the census to be taken throughout the empire. The registration, the first of its kind, took place when Quirinius was governor in Syria. Everyone went to be registered, each to his own town. So Joseph, because he was a descendant of David, went up from the town of Nazareth into Galilee to the town of David called Bethlehem in Judah, to be registered with Miriam, to whom he was engaged and who was pregnant. While they were there, the time came for her to give birth, and she gave birth to her first child, a son. She wrapped him in cloth and laid him down in a feeding trough because there was no space for them in the living quarters.
Now she's going to read Matthew 2, 1 and 2.
After Yeshua was born in Bethlehem in the land of Judah during the time when Herod was king, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the new king of the Jews? For we saw the star in the east and have come to worship him."
Then we should realize it wasn't that instant infant happening with those kings. Now how can we state that? Matthew 2, 16, please.
Meanwhile, when Herod realized that the Magi had tricked him, he was furious and gave orders to kill all the boys in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or less. calculating from the time the Magi had told him.
2 years old and younger. That's when the kings came to see him. So what do we have? A newborn, maybe even up to age 2. See, then, like my honey just read, at age 12, he's at the temple, and we know around age 30, his ministry gets a boost from Adonai.
Mm-hmm.
But we wander back to Luke 2. We must try to understand verse 52.
And Yeshua grew in both wisdom and stature, gaining favor both with other people and with God.
Now that's an interesting part.
It is.
As far as I'm concerned, you're going to find out this is kind of interesting. Yeshua grew in wisdom and stature. That's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He got a little older, got a little bigger. Is that saying after age 2 to age 30, Yeshua learned the carpenter's trade after all? Interesting.
You'd think so.
Mark 6, 1 through 3, please.
Then Yeshua left and went to his hometown, and his Talmud followed him. On Shabbat, he started to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished. They asked, "Where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom he has been given? What are these miracles worked through him? Isn't he just a carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him.
That was kind of interesting. Isn't he just a carpenter?
That's what they said.
That should instruct us. He grew learning his earthly father's trade of being a carpenter. But like verse 52 of Luke, it states he gained favor with other people. He, Yeshua, gained favor also with God. Now that's interesting.
Fascinating.
52 states Yeshua gained favor with other people and God. So that writing states before Yeshua starts to occupy his direct calling from Adonai, he grew into what? A carpenter.
Makes sense.
While filling and learning how to do that job, then what Adonai's job was for him was and would be. That's what he learned then. How many people ever stopped and thought about that? He learned to be a carpenter, and he had to grow into being the Christ.
Because that would have been normal back then, right? You would have learned your father's profession.
Yeah. But everybody says, "Oh no, he knew he was Christ all along," and then just started doing his stuff, or whatever, however they want to put it. But Scripture says he grew into being a carpenter. He grew in stature, and he grew in God.
Most people miss that.
I always did.
Mm-hmm.
When Yeshua does that, or when Yeshua does take that next step, he states a number of times, "In my name," like we've said many, many times. Why? Why state such a controversial outpouring of divine power as what? Him stating, "In my name." Yet for the last 390 years, that divine, holy biblical statement has been cast aside. So much. It's been stepped on. It almost has become non-existence. unholy, unbiblical, even a hardly ever spoken name of the most holy person who ever walked on this place we call earth.
Yeah.
Yet we have millions preaching it really not in his name anymore. No, we changed that part to use our own special kind of brainwashing called our own religion. In our own religious denominational philosophy to alter scripture. I think the Bible talks about people doing that.
Yeah.
Towards the last days. But that's been happening for a long time. Teaching their truth, and with their kind of truth, you are allowed to call the Messiah by a false, never used name until 1632. And that is their real way of altering scripture to fit your learning, your belief, your walk, and your brainwashing to where, according to them, should read in their renaming.
I like that.
Not in my name. Because they would have to say in their renaming. So to cover that up, the brains of that outfit must come up with a rouge. Oh yes. His name is the Son of God, the Messiah, the King of Kings, Emmanuel. Just to name a few. But when Adonai sent Gabriel, the angel, said you are to do what? Luke 1:31, please.
Look, you will become pregnant, you will give birth to a son, and you are to name him Yeshua.
Name him Yeshua or Yeshua. Nowhere in Scripture does it state to rename him. But think about it. Almost everybody we have ever met has done just that. Rename him with the English name Jesus? No, and you should not even call the Son by that Greek name either, Isus. When Yeshua stated in Matthew 18:5, read that please.
Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me.
Did he state to use a name that would come into existence in 1632? Or to become or welcome a child in my name?
That's what it says.
Meaning who? Has to be Yeshua or Yeshua. His real and only name. Then Yeshua says, when you meet, even if there are just 2 or 3, Netanyahu 18:20, please.
For wherever 2 or 3 are assembled in my name, I am there with them.
Oh my goodness. Yeshua says, if it's in my name, he is there with them. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yep.
Wherever 2 or 3 assemble in my name should jump up and poke you right in the eye.
I like that concept.
Yet religions take that statement one step closer to denouncing Yeshua or Yeshua and his name by brainwashing billions. How? By coming in through the back door with religion and discarding the importance of Adonai's Son, unaltered, unchanged, biblical holy name Yeshua. For the most dangerous activity by people, the renaming process is taught as worldly truth. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where it gets dangerous. Not for everybody, but if you follow a renaming or a made-up name, that's where it gets dangerous. Then you might say Yeshua warns us about looking out for counterfeits. Now that's kind of a strange statement even for me. Nah. You might say Yeshua warns us about looking out for counterfeits. Matanyahu 24, 4 and 5, please.
Yeshua replied, "Watch out, don't let anyone fool you, for many will come in my name saying, I am the Messiah, and they will lead many astray."
Whoa, watch out. Don't be fooled. Many will come, what? In my name, saying stuff like, I am the Messiah. Or some will say, follow me, believe like me. How about, let me change his name so you can understand what he really meant when, and that could be, as you know, to follow your preacher, your priest, your rabbi teacher, and their brainwashing instead of Scripture. Follow their brainwashing while you're here and all the way to that special place for them, hell. Just like them. Just like them without Yeshua. So what's so important about those 6 letters? Y-E-S-H-U-A is not a name to copy. It's not a name to change, alter, or do away with. People all over the world have seen demons expelled. Individuals who prophesy. They've even seen people perform a huge number of miracles, all claiming to do it in his name, yet in almost every happening, those religious happenings were done not in Yeshua's name. No, in a number of other made-up names. What was that word my sweetie just read not long ago? Oh yeah. Counterfeit name. I don't know if you read that.
Well, that's pretty much what it said, though.
That's why on that day, Matanyahu 7:22 and 23, please.
On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we expel demons in your name? Didn't we perform many miracles in your name? Then I will tell them to their faces, I never knew you. Get away from me, you workers of lawlessness.
That writing is so plain, yet your preacher, your priest, and maybe your rabbi teacher have still used, believed, and followed that counterfeit. You may ask us why. Why do they do that? We believe because they are either brainwashed, like they have done to you, or they're so far into that counterfeit name, they would lose too much if they actually acknowledge to their people they were wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're scared of.
Didn't go back, and they didn't go by the truth in the scripture, but instead led you to a place where you will definitely hear, "I never knew you." Our question to you is, are you wheat or straw? Now you might be thinking that's kind of a strange question even for George, and I will admit that is. Matanyahu 3:11 and 12, please.
It's true that I am immersing you in water so that you might turn from your sin. But the one coming after me is more powerful than I. I'm not worthy to even carry his sandals. And he will immerse you in the rock Hakodesh and in fire. He has with him his winnowing fork, and he will clear out the threshing floor, gathering his wheat into the barn, but burning the straw with unquenchable fire. Ouch.
That says what Yochanan, the immerser, John the Baptist, stated. What the one who comes after him, but is before him, will do. Yochanan, or John, didn't get a big head
No.
for the important job he was doing. No, he knew what his goal was and to whom he was to lead others to. That's why Matanyahu 3:13 through 15, please.
Then Yeshua came from the Galilee to the Jordan to be immersed by John. But John tried to stop him. "Why are you coming to me? I ought to be immersed by you." However, Yeshua answered him, "Let it be this way now, because we should do everything righteousness required." Then John let him.
You could say Johanan, or John, saw the great importance of Yeshua, or Yeshua. Mm-hmm. Then even Yeshua stated we should do everything righteousness requires. Let's not go on a whim. He's saying, John, Yochanan, we got to do what righteousness requires. We can't go by feelings. We can't go by hurt feelings. We can't go by what a rabbi says back then. No, we got to go by Scripture and what righteousness required. Wouldn't it be neat, interesting, fulfilling if preachers, priests, and rabbis would do that today? That was extra credit. I didn't have that one. Our question now is, are your preachers, priests, and your rabbi teachers doing everything righteousness requires? Are they wheat for harvest, or the straw that will get burnt up? That's talking to every preacher, priest, or rabbi. Are any or all casting aside that righteousness that Yeshua talked about for a counterfeit? The original, the only name our Messiah answered to, and the name Adonai gave to Gabriel to give to both Joseph and Miriam. That way, when Yeshua stated, in my name, that one statement, those three words mean so much, but followed by so few. That's the sad part. Mm-hmm. And actually, that's the dangerous part. The counterfeit has taken over. The original has been set aside for a time such as this. Now that's an interesting statement. in my name, Netanyahu 3:12. One more time, please.
He has with him his winnowing fork, and he will clear out his threshing floor, gathering his wheat into the barn, but burning up the straw with unquenchable fire.
Why would he do that? I would say it's because so few follow what he stated. In my name, in his name will be the wheat. All counterfeit name, plus those following and believing, will be burned up as that straw with unquenchable fire. That's what she just read.
That's what it says.
When on that day, on that last day, like it states in Netanyahu 7:22 and 23, see, Scripture sharpens Scripture. Counterfeiting blind Scripture to the point as dry as that straw. And it will be burning for everyone. That's everyone who doesn't heed to those three beautiful words. In my name. That's so important. So astronomically important to understand. But that's society. They can follow whatever they want. And it's been that way for a long time. The Hebrews didn't always follow Adonai. That's why they went to Egypt and why they became slaves. And when they got out of there, there's a whole bunch of different things that they've been doing. They wanted kings and everything else because they didn't follow Adonai.
That's right.
And every time they started messing up,
They were taken over by somebody else.
yeah. And now society has cast aside the one who stated, in my name. It actually hurts to see how blind so many are. Well, that's it.
Okay, guys. Please like and share. Thanks for watching it. I will have it posted on YouTube as well. So if you know people who don't have Facebook, they can check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to it so you know when it's been posted. It's George Nelson Live Facebook Videos is what it's called. Check it out. All our videos are there. So check it out. Share it with everybody. Have an awesome week, guys. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.